2-week break now. What changes and improvements do you think the Boks are going to try and implement before the Newlands clash?
Yeah, look, they will certainly have studied the Wallabies tapes of their matches to date, and then obviously look at what went wrong for them when they clashed in Australia. You know, I don't, from a personnel point of view, I don't think there are going to be a lot of changes. Obviously, Ruan Pienaar now out for the season. You know, there has to be a change at number 9. I expect Francois Hurkart to start. Kobus Reinach, you know, maybe move up to the bench. You know, whether he actually gets some time remains to be seen. So that's the only real change I think I would make, and I expect to make. You know, from the Wallaby point of view, you know, they could make a couple because they've picked up another bunch of injuries, and they've certainly been I think the hardest hit of all the nations in the CS tournament when it comes to injuries. But we're not too worried about them. Hopefully they don't come with their strongest team. But from a South African point of view, you know, if they keep their wits about them, they're as fit as the Wallabies, if not more so. Playing at home, playing at Newlands, I'm sure it'll be a sold-out crowd. You know, we've got a Northern Hemisphere referee again for that match. So, you know, I expect the Springboks to win. I just hope that they play sort of expansive rugby for a change and get Pollard keeping them on the front foot, but not only worrying about the turning over of possession. I really think once we dominate possession, you know, that will translate obviously into tries. You know, we're sort of having to rely on turning over possession and try and score tries rather than dominating possession and going through the phases and, you know, and then creating the overlap out wide and scoring there, because we've got some deadly finishes in Cornel Hendricks now and Brian Habana. So I'd love to see them get more of the ball sort of on the front foot through the phases rather than you know, the try that we scored from first phase over for the 5-7 pointer, and then nothing ever again sort of in the match. Didn't even try something similar to that move. So, you know, they'll be working on those sort of things. You know, the defence will always be sound from a South African point of view. We sort of pride ourselves on defence, and we have to remember that rugby is sort of 50-50 between attack and defence, even though we sort of take it to like the 80-20 in favour of defending. You know, it's always nice to see a team attacking, you know, sort of going through the phases, even if it falls short and there's a turnover or a knock-on at the end. At least we've, you know, given it a bash, and we're not just relying on defence the whole time.